They have to filter it.
They have to,
Trust
dude.
me.
You said there's little kids that watch that?
Yeah. Because that is not G-rated.
Not
or
at all.
PG.
Nothing we do is.
PG-13.
They filter everything we do. Damn.
JC,
JC, we're gonna tip.
JC!
We're gonna tip!
I hate you, you little shit. Bam, 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 ba-dum, bam, bam, bam.
This does not sound good. Throw me that pillow. Sorry.
Jesus.
Fucker.
So mean.
Fucker.
I'm trying to think of what I want to say tomorrow.
You still got a pitch to me. What are you gonna say?
I'm thinking.
Do it for Hilton Head. Say
So just
exactly what I said.
do it for Hilton Head. To keep this really simple
Yep.
and quick. Do it for Hilton Head.
Yeah, say that.
I'll give you my hoodie.
Give me my hoodie forever.
I'll trade you that for my hoodie. What if we actually did do that? I was like, trade you for my hoodie?
Like, alright.
Better?
Better. Better.
That would be hilarious.
Should.
We should totally do that.
Yeah. Nobody would be pissed at all.
Trade you for my hoodie? Congrats.
I'm just like,
Okay.
take it. We really should. I gotta see what I gotta think of what I should say. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Useless, useless, useless. Fuck you, useless.
Fuck you. Just like Casey's eviction speech. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck you, artist.
Fuck you the most.
Bam, 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 bam.
JC! Damn it. You wasted them all.
Fuck you, JC.
Now you gotta eat them all.
I just fit you.
JC, come eat these out of my hand. Eat them.
Feed him.
Wait, let me spot him.
JC, now there's gonna be Chex Mix
There's
everywhere.
like 3 right there on you.
They're all over me. I would throw these at him, but then they're just gonna be crushed up everywhere.
You're in my dream again.
Really?
Yeah, you told me to shut the fuck up, but it wasn't a dream. It was
No,
real
I did
life.
Was I really?
Yeah. I don't remember it, though. No. It's because I always wake up and you're just right there. And I go back to sleep and you're still just right there.
I'm still here.
And then you say shut the fuck up.
It's so funny. When I was little, I fell asleep. I was probably 10. My brother's friends were all there, and I fell asleep in the living room. And I woke up and I cursed at everyone and then went to sleep.
Do you not remember?
No, and they told me this the next day. He was having a sleepover with all his friends. I woke up and just said fuck you to all of them, and then went
Fuck
to
you.
sleep.
So this is a normal thing that you've been doing your whole life. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
I went to bed.
I'm going to try to get you to do it more often. I'm going to ask you questions every time you move.
Don't.
And just see how many things you don't remember saying in the morning.
That's dangerous.
No.
It's like being hypnotized.
I know. It's fun. It's going to be fun.
Angela, what is your deepest, darkest secret?
Tell me your deepest, dark secret. I should have been doing this the whole time. Pole vaulting.
Shut the fuck up, Tyler.
Shut the fuck up.
You'll never know.
Oh, I'll know. And you do the little JC things too.
I do.
One time you're like, She's like, what?
What did I do?
You're like, You like touch my hand. It's like, what? You do this like a lot. At least once a night.
Really?
Yeah, usually like right when I get to bed, you move around, and then you'll either say something or you'll just flip over, and then a couple minutes will go by and you'll do something else. And sometimes I think your eyes are open too, so I'm like, yeah? And just nothing. Then you start snoring like 2 seconds later.
Do I snore for a while?
No, it's like 2 of them. It's like one, it's like a good one, and then like a one that just pops and then you wake up. Like a and you snap right out of it.
That's so embarrassing. It's so weird having people like here.
Everywhere. You can't
like,
get away. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. I'm sure they got that on camera.
Yeah, they did. It's like, I usually just laugh at you.
It's hilarious. Embarrassing, but hilarious.
Mm-hmm. My whole life. Tell me your life story.
All right. Do you want the Spark Notes version, the Cliff Notes version?
Did Casey get a version yet?
No, Casey hasn't gotten any version. She's
I want-
gotten the very basic, broad version.
The same kind of one I got, or give me whatever version you want.
Okay, let's
I got
start
all day.
way back when. Do you think anyone can hear me?
Nah.
So my parents put me in gymnastics when I was like 5 years old because I was doing flips off the couch and they thought I was going to break my neck. So they put me in gymnastics, and then I started competing like at age 5, basically.
Like right away.
Like
You were
right
good at it.
away. And like in front of people, like in an audience, like little mini Angie,
Wow.
like doing little routines and stuff.
Were you scared?
No, I was like fearless as a little kid. I had like no sense of like my body. Like I wasn't afraid to like hurt myself at all. So I got good at gymnastics really fast, and I like got to a level in gymnastics where I couldn't be coached in Hilton Head. So my mom had to drive me from Hilton Head to Savannah 5 days a week.
Damn.
It was an hour-and-a-half drive, and we started going probably at like when I was 9 years old. So I was training 20 hours a week, commuting 15, and competing on the weekends, and going to school.
After school?
So I had no childhood. I had no life, and I was a very sad little kid because of it.
You're just sad all the time?
Kind of. Like, I got to see my friends sometimes, but, like, my friends were mostly in the gym. Like, I never saw my dad, really. I saw him 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before I went to sleep, a few minutes on the weekends here and there, and I saw my mom, like, way too much. It was, like, and my mom's relationship has always been, like, weird because we spent so much time together growing up, and I felt like I didn't understand why, like, I had to go through, like, the whole gymnastics shit, because I didn't like it. And so, like, I kind of had this, like, resentment towards my mom, which it breaks my heart to think about now.
You had that?
Yeah. That
You
was,
don't
like,
anymore?
my mom was doing everything for me, like, giving 35 hours a week to, like, let me do gymnastics, and I was, like, mad at her for doing it. And my brother didn't get to see my mom because of it, because my mom was always with me in Savannah. And my dad was always with my brother at home. So, like, I didn't get to see my dad that much. My brother didn't get to see my mom. And so my brother has this, like, he would never, like, talk about it, but, like, I know it exists. Like, he will always, like, kind of have this, like, resentment, like, that I was, like, the golden child of the family, like, being, like, taken to all these competitions every weekend and, like, kind of, like, the center of it. Like, I didn't want to be, like, the center of attention, but it's just how it happened. Like,
Right.
They were, like, pushing me through gymnastics. They were like, you're going to do this in college. This is how you're going to pay for college. Yada, yada, yada. I hated it. And then I got into, like, 8th grade. And I was level 10 when I was, like, 8th grade, which is, like, the highest level.
That's the highest level you could possibly be.
Well, there's elite, but that's, like, international. So in the U.S., it's, like, level 10.
That's crazy.
And my life was miserable. Like, I was clinically depressed. I would wake up at 6 a.m., go to school. And I was in, like, all, like, high school classes. So I had, like, so much homework. I would 6 a.m. wake up, go to school, go to practice. The school got out at, like, 2:30, went to straight to practice for 4 hours, got home at, like, 9:30, 10, did homework till 3 a.m.,
Every day?
Every night. I would sit there, and I would remember there's the street sweepers that would come by in Sea Pines
Oh my
at 2:30
God.
every night. And at 2:30, when I heard that noise, I would just start like bawling my eyes out. It's like I would hear that noise, and it was just
Because
like
you knew it was
a
that late?
trigger. And I was like, oh my God, it's 2:30. I hate my life.
Oh.
Like I have to be up in 4 hours. Like it was miserable. And I was like so depressed. I'm such a like unhappy kid.
This is 8th grade still?
And I still have what? So I quit when I was 17. I think I was like 14 in 8th grade.
Mhm.
So 4 more years of just living in hell. It's like I had no life. I became like the most rebellious little child. I got caught drinking when I was 13 years old.
13.
13 years
In
old.
8th grade?
hmm
Wow. Look at you.
That was horrible.
You
I
got
was
caught?
Yeah, caught like hammered drunk. My parents caught me like passed out in my room.
Just by yourself?
No, my friends were there.
Oh, okay.
They were not passed out though.
They were not passed out?
No. My best friend was like in my brother's room, like talking to him, like, what should we do with her?
Oh,
And
God.
my brother's like, what happened was I got caught at a school dance, like in high school.
Oh.
So I was in 8th grade. I was at a high school dance with my friends,
Oh.
hammered, and my brother's friend saw me drunk and grabbed me and pulled me out. And called my brother. I was like, come get your sister. I have her. She's drunk. I'm going to Wendy's. The Wendy's on the north end.
Yep. That's not even there anymore.
It's not
No, it's a Zaxby's now.
on the north end.
Yeah. Oh, on the north end. Yeah. Wendy's.
Yeah, so I was in the Wendy's parking lot, hammered drunk. My brother comes and gets me, like, puts me in the car, takes me home, puts me in bed. My parents were at, like, a party. And they got home, and I'm just, like, face down, passed out
Just
in bed.
pass out.
And they come into, like, my brother's room where my friend was, and they're like, what's going on? Like, why is Angela, like, not moving?
Just not moving.
And they just both look at my dad, like... And my dad walks in there, like, grabs my foot, and I have, like, just no response. Horrible throw. And, so I was just basically like miserable and rebelling to just like get back at my parents because I was just like mad at the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was 17. I was a junior in high school, and I just like woke up one day, and it's like what we talked about, how like like you just have a feeling there's like a different path for you.
Mm-hmm.
I just like woke up one day and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I was talking to colleges. I had like a few like small colleges that wanted me, like ETSU, Michigan State, like some like little, like not any like big SEC schools or anything.
Michigan State's pretty huge.
I mean, not for gymnastics. For some
for
sports,
gymnastics.
like the big schools for gymnastics are like SEC. And so I was like talking to some colleges that I really wasn't interested in going anywhere with. Like it was like Arizona State, Michigan State, like Towson, like weird schools. And I was like, I don't really want to go to any of these schools. And like I'm just doing this for gymnastics. I fucking hate gymnastics. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with everything. And my parents are like, are you fucking kidding me?
They're
like,
pissed.
how much they've put into my gymnastics, like so many hours, so much money, like insane. And so like I was just finally like, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm sick of crying myself to sleep every night. And I was like, even in gymnastics, I was like bad. Like I would get kicked out of practice for weeks at a time. Horrible attitude. I'd like walk into the gym, my coach would be like, she'd be like, okay, you need to walk out, come back in with a better look on your face. And like I was such a little sarcastic shit. I'd like walk out, come back and be like, just like trying to piss my coach off.
That's not your fault though. You
No.
hated it.
But I had like some horrible gymnastics coaches growing up, like ones that would tell us like we sucked, we were fat, didn't deserve to be here. Like one of my gymnastics coaches when I was 6 years old, it was before my first day of first grade, we got in trouble and he picked us all up, and we were like little kids. He picked us up and hung us on a single rail metal bar, and he was like, don't let go until your hands rip, and once your
What?
hands rip, you're going to run laps around the gym until everyone falls. And so I went to school, my first day of first grade, my hands were just ripped open. You know, like,
They rip?
like when you're like lifting and like the skin rips off in like a big chunk and there's like a raw thing there?
Yeah.
Like 5.
Oh,
I went to first grade with my hands like in bandages like this.
oh my God.
And like I like didn't tell like my mom that our coach is basically abusing us.
Yeah.
And like that was
6 years old?
6 years old. And like there's some really horrible things that like gymnastics coaches do to girls, like bad shit. Like it's one of those sports where like they cross the line.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
I've had like friends that had coaches that basically like horrible shit. And so I'm 17 years old. And I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this sport. I don't know what I'm going to do. But, like, when you grow up doing a sport your entire life, it's like your identity.
Yeah.
And so, like, I didn't know who I was without gymnastics. And so, like, I was so scared to quit. And, like, once I did quit, I was like, I'm okay. Like, I'll figure it out.
There's just like a weight lifted off of you.
Oh, my God. I felt like I was, like, first day out of jail.
Yeah.
Like, free. I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Like, I can walk out the doors of school and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was crazy. And I was like, this is so awesome. And then all my friends and family were like, you're throwing away everything you've ever worked for. Yada, yada, yada. I'm just like, you know what? It doesn't even matter at this point. Like, my happiness is what's most important.
Exactly.
And so I'm, like, hanging out with my guy friends after school because all my friends in high school were guys. And they're like, we're going to football practice. They're like, you should come. And I'm like...
Football practice. Oh, yeah, you tried out.
I'm like, those tryouts. And they're like, you should come. And I'm like, no, not happening. And they're like, no, really. Like, you're good at powder puff. Like, it'll just be fun. I'm just like, okay, whatever. And so I go to football tryouts and, like, just have the time of my life and just, like, fuck around. And the assistant coach was the track coach for the women's team. And he's like, you know, I don't think you should play football. I think you should just really come out for the track team. He's like, you'd be good at, like, triple jump, maybe, like, the sprints. And I'm like, okay. So I go home, I, like, Google track and field. I'm like, maybe I can do the sport and get good enough
This is
to,
when
like...
you were 17? Going into your senior year?
I had never played a school sport. I'm screaming right now. I had never played a school sport until my senior year in high school.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 17 years old. This was my end of my junior year. I'm, like, Googling track and field. I can't even tell you the first thing about it. I don't know how many meters are in a track. I don't know, like, what a field event is, what a track event is. And so I'm just, like, Googling. And I'm like, okay, maybe sprints would be fun. And then I find pole vault. And I look, and, like, every international, like, record holder, like, Olympian was a gymnast.
Really?
So I'm like, maybe I'll try this.
Can you go about flip?
Yeah, not standing up. Went right down
What
a
do
throat.
you know standing up?
Not like straight up on the ground, but into a pool or on a trampoline, yeah.
No, what I can do about
Is there any peanuts on me?
It's probably, yeah, right there.
open up.
On your left, on your right. Right there.
Yeah. Open up. Try with your mouth. What the fuck? Yeah.
So I'm Googling this sport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, pole vault. This could be fun. And, like, every, like, Olympian was a gymnast that got too tall. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Were you already tall?
I was 5'10".
Damn.
Most gymnasts are 4'11". So I was, like, defying the odds for years. What? What? Yeah. Uh-huh.
I literally. Open up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Gymnastics.
I did that. Okay, you repeat.
For a dancer. Mm-hmm.
What lap?
Mm-hmm. But it's like your identity.
Okay, one more try.
Mm-hmm.
Waddy, and being a ballerina is all about being like long and lean,
Mm-hmm.
like long lines. You would have made a beautiful ballerina.
I used to when I was like 4.
Oh my God, you would have, because you have tiny feet too. You would have been a beautiful ballerina.
Aw, thank you, Sammy.
For real.
You talk a lot quieter, clearly.
Good thing you didn't get to the juicy parts yet.
Yeah, so it's all obvious. Okay, so I'm like Googling the sport. I'm like, you know, maybe I'll try this. And then that summer, I found like a And I told like all my friends and family, like, I'm gonna start pole vaulting. They're like, you're batshit crazy. You're throwing away everything you ever worked for. You're throwing away a scholarship because you want to pole vault. I'm like, yeah.
They're like, watch me.
I'm like, I'm the kind of person that's like, you want me to do something, tell me I can't.
Yep.
I'm like, game
Seriously.
on.
Same. I would have done the same thing.
And so I was like, I was on a mission to prove everyone wrong. And so I find a pole vault camp at the University of South Carolina. It's like for beginners and like intermediate. And it's at like the university, and there's this Australian coach there who's like the godfather of pole vaulting. He's like written books about it, and he's there coaching. And him and the like head coach from the USC team, which was eventually my coach in college, which is like ironic. And they had like a falling out like day one of the camp. And I was and I was the only beginner there, so this Australian guy was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going to take you outside and just train you for the rest of the camp.
Wow.
So I had like a private lesson with this Australian guy for like 5 days long. And then he's like, will you get your mom to come up here and talk to me after this camp's over? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, I want you to come with me this summer and go to all these camps that I'm coaching at and like demonstrate. And like, I'll get you in for free and you get free coaching, yada, yada, yada. So this like Australian dude like takes me under his wing and takes me to all these camps. I went to like Duke, I went to App State, I went to Liberty, I think ETSU was one too.
This is like within your first few times.
This was like the first 2 months of pole vaulting.
Wow.
I'd never jumped before. And then like word spread fast. Like I started getting like hit up by all these college coaches, and I had never like competed before. So they're like, what's your PR? I'm like, I've never pole vaulted before.
And they're like,
okay, weird. And so he basically told my mom so I start like jumping a little bit, and I do really well on my first like high school pole vault meet. I like broke the women's record and the men's record for my school.
First one, women and men.
I think I jumped like 12 too.
Holy shit!
And all of a sudden, like the floodgates of colleges just opened wide up. It was like I could now go to any school in the entire U.S.
Wow!
Like just anywhere. Like I could just like pick anywhere I wanted to go. And
you're like, what's up? Yeah.
And
remember
then
how you guys said that I was throwing it all away?
I was like, fuck you guys.
Fuck everyone.
And then this coach, Alan Launder, the Australian guy, was like, she doesn't need to go to college. She needs to go to Europe and start training. My mom's like, no, you're going to college. And I'm like, but I really don't want to go to college. I don't like school.
Yeah.
And he's like, my mom's like, no, you're going to college. Like, and I went on a bunch of official visits. I went to like USC, Clemson, VTech, Arkansas, and LSU. Like the 5 schools that I visited. And like the first one I went to was VTech, and it was before I'd ever like pole vaulted. And so like I'm talking to all like the people in the team. They're like, "Oh, what's your PR?" And I'm like, "I don't really have one yet, but I'm getting there." Like what?
Like okay.
Then I picked USC because I had kind of like known the team a little better because I'd spent a lot of time there.
That's where you went to the camp.
And my grandma was in Columbia at the time, living there, and so was my aunt. My aunt had cancer, and so she moved like down the street from my grandma. And so I was like, this is like a good thing because I feel like I can be there if they need someone.
Right.
And so I was like going to college, and I like felt bad the whole time because when you're like a college athlete, you have no life. Like it's 24/7, like classes and then practice and then weight room and then back to study hall. And then we travel like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, come home Sunday.
Wow.
And so you're always gone. Like I went to class like Monday, Tuesday.
You had a lot of classes on Monday and Tuesday?
And then I had online classes. And it's like, it's literally hell. And so I never like got to see them. So I always like felt bad. Like whenever I got like a
Cecil, give it a rest.
A chance, I would go and drive out and see my aunt, my grandma. And they thought like this whole time my grandma was sick. They thought she had pneumonia when she really had lung cancer.
Wow.
She didn't know it.
So your aunt and your grandma both had cancer?
At the same time.
Wow.
So after freshman year in college was kind of rough for me. Like my coach was really hard on us about our physique and like us being like 0% body fat, and like to the point where we all had like eating disorders basically. Wow. And I got what they call like the female athlete triad or whatever. It's like early onset osteoporosis. I had like stress fractures in my feet. My hair was falling out. I was like anorexic. Didn't have a period. It was bad and like really sick.